Heyo, this is Strako, and today we are going to be playing the Ironeye with the Sellsword armor because it was my favorite set in Dark Souls 3. Our build is very easy. We have a cumulative +4 endurance with these two relics. We have extends duration of weak points and +1 additional character skill use. These two together make you a lot more mobile and makes it a lot easier to activate your mark, mostly the extended duration. And finally, we have two things that increase how quick our ultimate will charge. One upon critical hits, and one by defeating more enemies. So yeah, we should get a lot of ults, and overall just the character feels stronger, but this build is nothing crazy. Mostly because anything that I try to put on Ironeye doesn't really work with him. We will also pick everything except the Sentient Pest and Tricephalos, including Night Aspect if we happen to get it. So we will see. Reason being is I feel like we've seen a lot of Sentient Pests, and, shoot, no. No. How do I cancel? Please. How do I cancel matchmaking? No! Let this be the first time that I'm gonna do a multiplayer live commentary, I guess, and we'll see how that goes. So thinking about it, I guess this could be neat, because most people who play this game are going to have other players with them. I know playing this game solo is actually pretty uncommon. So maybe it'll be an interesting experience to talk about that. The biggest difference with people is, one, you're going to be lagging. It's annoying, but it's whatever. Especially if you're playing at 6 a.m. like I am, because I like to wake up, do these videos, and then go exercise, work out, and then start editing them after I'm done my workout. So it takes some. So usually these people that I'm playing with are going to be Japanese. Right there, that was the power of having two character skills. I didn't level up yet, so I'm still very weak. Again, with Ironeye, abuse the fact that you have iframes on your dash. It is easily the strongest part of his skill. I mean, his skill is completely insane in general, but the iframes, I like to use one of my marks to get the mark on them, and then one of my marks for the iframes. And the reason I'm actually going to hit up the church first is because I think they're most likely going to get the Stone Sword key and then do that. And I want to be able to jump right down. I want to be able to jump right down from up here and take that tree and get the other church too. So I don't know how most people like to play with others, but the way I found that I win most consistently is just making sure that I keep my own farm up and make sure that, like, I'm getting as much value in runes as I can, and then let them do what they want to do. Like, a lot of people ignore the little enemies. They're worth so much. They're worth so much. Like, killing those 3 guys just got my team 2,400 runes. If you've ever been 1,000 runes short of a level, you know how much that can add up. So yeah, if somebody wants to come with you, it's nice, but it's not like the most important thing to always have your team with you. It can even be good to split up. The only problem is if you die, you're in a much worse spot. So like, because of their routing, I just want the rings. Because of their routing, they're gonna have to get this church and then figure out where to go while they're in a dead area of the map. I'm gonna already be going to that church and then getting the poison thing and whatever. Now, we actually got Heolster, which I mean, that was most likely to happen because that's what people typically queue for. Him and the Everdark ones, but oh well. Improved lightning damage, whatever, just grab something. A lot of the time on these little camps, you don't get anything good. Oh, we're already starting to see just how crazy good Ironeye is at farming. Are they wanting to go to the fortress already? You know what? Good luck, guys. I have my thing and I'm sticking to it, and now I might be trolling, but whatever. I just feel like Fortress on day 1 at level 5 can be good, but you're kind of screwing yourself a little bit, because you end up... The really nice thing about the Fortress is that it's very central to everything. So you can do the Fortress and no matter where the circle goes, you're going to be able to make it to there. Now, I'm trying to show off... Oh, actually, I've improved throwing knife damage. I mean, yeah, that's all it is, but it exists. See, I have no clue what they're fighting. Oh, that was my mark detonating. So if you deal enough damage... Oh, I almost died there because of the step. If you deal enough damage to your mark, it'll pop. And the pop kind of acts like a bleed proc. Like, it does a ton of damage, and... Okay, let's not die as Ironeye. That'd be embarrassing. It does a ton of damage, and a ton of posture damage. Okay, very cool. Something good. Improved affinity damage negation, sure. They killed something down there. I'm gonna assume it wasn't anything too crazy, because if that was a bell-bearing hunter, they would have been cooked. Alright. Yeah, I'm actually going in a really good route right now. Might even drop in and see if this is an easier camp. Damn. One thing I was sad about, okay, is the lock-on system of this game is awful. I couldn't lock on because my camera was in the tent. But one thing that I was a little bit upset about in retrospect is that when I was telling that story of my crazy pathological friend last video, pathological liar friend last video, I feel like I really didn't do it justice, and I think next time that I do a story like that, I'm going to make a point of being a little bit more animated as I tell through it. Awesome. Elder Lion is exactly what you want to see in these types of camps. I'm just going to go over here first because I want the church and the levels before I fight him. There we go. Level 8. Very nice. I also have St. Trina's Torch, which, I mean, isn't going to ever help anyone, but it's cool. Now we're going to go up here. Actually, we're going to swipe through the demi-humans real quick, and there we go. One thing that I've also come to realize is that I need to be a lot funnier with my content. I've been keeping it very matter-of-fact, and that's cool and all, but it's just not what the internet really likes. And I can do, like, skits and stuff, so why not? There you go, that was the mark detonating. That was me not getting anything for it. He went over me. That's one problem I have with Ironeye's ability sometimes. Things will attack and go over you because he goes so close to the ground while he dodges. My favorite part of it is definitely just sliding through things. Whoa. I'm dead here if I don't dodge this. Very cool. Use the ability, and there you go. The ability actually popped there, and then reapplied. Hello? Please, sir, may I have my drop? Well, I've never seen that happen before, but I guess the lion is not giving me anything. Very, very unique. Alright, well, that has completely, blown my mind. Made it very hard to think of what to say next. Where was I? Right. I need to be funnier, which I can do. I know I'm a programmer, and, like, typically, you know, we're not known for being humorous, but I actually was the class clown back when I was in school. Now I'm only a clown when I try to talk to women. Don't worry, guys, I'm fine. But, jokes aside, I, have, like, a bunch of skit ideas that I want to do that I think will be received pretty well. Small ones. I also want to make a Revenant in 60 seconds video, which I think is going to be my next 60 seconds. And I want to do 2 of them. So, like, this is kind of a content spoiler block, but one that is based around actually what Revenant is, and one that is meant to be a total, like, joke. Like, just, I want to have fun with it. In general, I think that if I just have fun with what I'm doing, people will end up liking it. Because, I am having a lot of fun with my live commentaries. nothing else, it gives me a reason to actually be peppy and talk. And as opposed to just working in silence, but like I kind of miss making the more jokey videos too. I don't know, if I could find a way to balance humor with actual analytical breakdown, that would be, in my opinion, the ideal. I don't know exactly what that's going to look like, but going forward, I'm going to experiment a little bit. And I'm probably going to start with some shorts, because they're quicker to make and let me kind of get a feeling for what people enjoy. The other thing I'm really excited for... yeah, dude, I'm just excited for a lot of stuff, I'll be real. Like, anyone who says that you get more miserable as you get older sounds like a skill issue to me. Hey, out of the sky. Because I've been... just everything that I hear about, I'm like excited to see what it's like and to talk about it and explore it a bit. But the new Everdark Sovereigns, the ones that are coming out, dude, I can't wait to see what Everdark Equilibrios Beast looks like. He is so cool. I also am excited to see what his relic does, because the relic he gives base game is probably one of the most unique ones in the game. It just... the way it works for people who don't know is if you use a certain emote, right, and you have that equipped, where is, oh, there he is. If you use a specific emote and you have his relic equipped, what it does is it gives you, they can heal, really? It gives you FP restoration, when Madness activates, and using this emote will proc Madness. And I wanted to actually use that on Revenant. In fact, next time I do a Revenant video, which might be soon, because of when I thought of that, I was like, wait, that would be really cool. I want to explore using that a little bit. I think it'll be nice, because most people, kinda just always use the same generic stuff. I want to make an attempt at making some actually unique builds. Like, stuff that you don't really see all the time. The only problem is that the last 3 videos I've done have been Recluse, Revenant, and Ironeye. And, well, or this will be an Ironeye video, and they're remarkably bad at having interesting builds out of the relics, because you can't change their weapon arts. You can't change their weapon arts. You can't change, if ever it's open, the solution is inside it, by the way. Oh, there it is. Can't change their weapon arts. Can't change, like, physical attack up stuff doesn't really work on them. It's just harder to make interesting... It's just harder to make interesting builds with these 3. Because the other characters have a whole host of different abilities and stuff that you can give to them that just Recluse, Revenant, and Ironeye don't even get the options, because your starting weapons don't allow for it. In a perfect world, what I would like to see them do is let me start with a basic white weapon outside of my default one. Like, okay, I can bring Ironeye's bow and a short sword. That would actually be an interesting relic effect. But that would solve a lot of those issues. Yeah, I don't know. Making content has really gone through a lot of metas, right? Like, people used to make collab videos all the time, and now I feel like those have kind of fallen off, and now the new thing is make a series that people like and upload daily. The only other way that you can really succeed that I see is insanely high quality content, but I feel like that also can just come down to luck. Like, when someone makes high quality content, there's still a whole level of marketing and stuff that they have to do that can be hard to make work. Anyway, here's my teammates. They've gone on their own little journey. We've got an Artorias and a Dark Souls 2 enjoyer. Very cool. And they're probably like, what has this dude been doing? And I'm like, oh, my own little journey. Ooh, you know what I actually really want to do? I want to do a melee Ironeye where I use his skill, but go out of my way to, like, fight things in melee and use his skill kind of like a budget quickstep. Fucking missed. I think that could be really cool. But again, it's hard because you don't get that many ways of doing... Like, you don't get many options of what you can actually change on, round start as Ironeye. Because you have a bow. It's just... You're stuck with the bow. I shot him in the knee. Watch out. Oh, he got the Royal Greatsword. That's a really good weapon. Guard counters okay, sure. FP restoration, I guess. Cool. Off I go. If they want to do that Evergawl, they can. I'm going to check the great boss that they killed, and I'm going to kill some great bosses of my own. Ugh. Red Mane Knights are probably the most annoying, just because you need to climb that entire tower. And they can be a pain with knocking you down, or like they fall, and then because they fell, you have to do this really specific... Like, you have to fight them on one of... Not specific, but you have to fight them on one of these super tiny ledges. Ow. That's case in point. There we go, bait him into hitting that. We're just gonna bring him as close to me as we can. I'd rather have ulted in the camp, but I just don't feel like dealing with this dude. Now, what I actually should look for is a better bow. There is no reason for me to be married to this base bow that I grabbed. It's not that good. Improved damage negation at full HP, that's pretty nice. Which means this camp should be good because usually there are some bow racks. Successful guarding ups poise, I think that said. Yeah, okay. Horrid. Definitely Ironeye is the easiest Nightfarer, though. Like, I don't know that I would trust myself to go off on a solo expedition like this as any of the other Nightfarers. Well, I mean, I do it, but a lot of the time I'm just throwing. As Ironeye, this is easy. Now, I don't have a loadout that's really meant to fight the final boss, so what I do have... I'm just an Ironeye, and just being an Ironeye is enough. There we go, that was my mark activating. This gives me more ult charge. And then the triple shot that you do when you do a charge attack as Ironeye is actually very nice when you're close. Just spam it into stuff and watch the damage rack up. Improved poise, I guess, because what else do I take? And very cool. Level 13 already. So I want to get to that church, and then after that church, I want to start heading towards the fortress. Quick little example of just how efficient Ironeye is at farming small enemies. And here's a bow rack. Awesome. Hey. There we go. This should be just a straight upgrade. It sure is. That's a little bit of magic damage. It's not going to be as good on me as a other bow might, but that's fine. Actually, I don't know if this bow scales with int. It does in the base game, I believe, but Nightreign has changed a lot about weapons and weapon scaling. How strong different things are just at base. So I never know 100%. And when you go try to check, it's not like you get a clear breakdown of the thing. It just gives you a number. Or, sorry, it just gives you a letter grade. I don't know why that one dog was weaker and took more damage, but it sure did. I don't... Maybe... I don't want to do 2 Revenant videos so close together, but I really do want to play around with that Madness Relic now. That's just on my mind. I don't know, do you guys get excited to try out builds in Nightreign? I know that the game, at the moment, is a little bit repetitive, but, like... what really keeps me back is the characters, and just, I like Souls combat. So, like, it's kind of like going back to DMC5. You don't go back to DMC5 for the story. You go back because you just want to play Dante again, or Virgil again. Or if you're clinically insane, you want to play V again. You know? Like, that's what Nightreign is for me. It's an excuse to fight a bunch of fun bosses that I really like to fight, and just not worry about anything else. On voice guard counters, okay, well, improved attack power and two-handing, I guess. Better than improved lightning damage negation. My favorite way to travel here is to drop down, and then jump up. Ooh, okay. There we go. So, my Wylders are doing God's work eliminating these great bosses. That's all I could really say about them. Improved... Ooh, there we go! This is a holy bow. Improved fire attack power, though. What does this one have? Improved holy damage negation. Doesn't really matter. It's just a better bow. But now I'm going to go hit up the fortress, which hopefully they've been clearing out for me. My, very reliable Wylders, and yeah. You know, there's a question. How do you guys feel about playing with randoms in Nightreign? Because, I'll be real, in their perspective, I'm probably their crappy random at the moment. Like, I completely abandoned them for the sake of going off on my own little journey, gave zero regard for anything that they're doing, and just said, alright, well, here's what I want, bye. But on the other hand, like, aside from the lag that it can cause, I really don't mind it. I actually think it's a fun way to play the game. I mostly don't do it because I felt like playing solo is more enjoyed as a watch experience. But hey, if I'm wrong, like, let me know. I would be willing to do, like, 1 or 2 solo runs for every few, non-solo. Or, sorry, 1 or 2 group runs for every few solo runs. It could even be interesting. I've heard a lot of people complain about the skill level of their randoms, and, I mean, I've not experienced that. This has been more than fine. That's really nice. Improved damage negation. Screw improved damage negation at low HP. It does not matter. The Lion Bow. I wonder if they... Oh, yep, they did. Cool. So we're going to grab improved affinity attack power. Yeah, this is going to be probably the easiest final boss that you will ever see. Ow. Let me actually change... There's no reason to be offhanding this sleep torch. It's... There you go. Ironeye is a lot better with smaller bows than great bows. So, if you ever find, like, the Radon bow, like I have here, it's good on him, but you lose access to the faster shooting that makes him so ridiculous all the time, in every way. So it might not be worth it always to take. Like, you might be better off, using a lower damage bow, but with, how do you say it? A lower damage bow that shoots faster. Now, the nice thing about the Radon bow, if I can do it, is its charge attack is a bundle of arrows. The not nice thing is the bundle of arrows doesn't do crazy damage unless you're, yeah, let me not die to a Stormveil Knight real quick. The bundle doesn't do crazy damage unless you're right inside of the enemy, and it can be a little bit hard to get the opportunity to walk up and do this. But if you get it, it's funny. There we go. But, yeah, definitely it is better most of the time to be using, like, this Erdtree bow and farming with it, and farming enemies with it, like, in 1, 2, 3 shots versus taking 2 of the big shots from the Radahn one. Man, you know, one game that I'm really excited to actually see how it ends up, right? Is... Ow, sorry, nose itch. One game that I'm actually really excited to see how it ends up is the James Bond game that's being made by the people that made, the Hitman games. Because the Hitman games are some of my favorite games of all time. And if we're talking stealth games, they just are my favorite game of all time. Because stealth is hard. Like, stealth is a really hard thing to do in a video game because of how enemy AI works. Like, how do you make a realistic stealth game with AI that is effectively just a bunch of checklists? You know what I mean? Like, a lot of stealth games aren't fun to play because the way that the AI works is extremely limited. You can only be so interesting. Because, like, okay, you can make a system where there's sounds, and the AI will react and respond to sound. Very cool, but now what happens, I guess that's better than improved throwing pots, now what happens if they go to that place and there's nothing there? What do you program from there? And the more that you design it, like, everything that you design has to be hard programmed. So maybe you make a list of random options they have, but is that really the most realistic depiction of stealth? And even then, once the players learn the random options that control what enemies will do after they find the source of a noise or investigate a noise, like, players will get used to that and it starts feeling artificial again. Even like the Arkham games, right, where those games are heavily praised for their insane stealth. When you actually, like, the biggest reason I feel those games are so praised is because you're Batman. You get to run around being Batman, and the way that things get scared and stuff really sells the depiction that these are just thugs that you're picking on. But is it a realistic depiction of stealth? I mean, no, there's... If someone is actually so terrified that their heart's beating out of their chest, they're probably just gonna leave. They're gonna run. Like, but that wouldn't make for fun gameplay to have your thugs trying to leave the premises because you're there, so they don't do that. Improved max stamina, yes please. But Hitman probably gets it the closest, with some exceptions of, if you've ever watched a Hitman speedrun, the way it works is people will go to a specific location, right? They'll be standing there, and they'll just start shooting at someone, but they'll shoot around them. This does less damage because these resist physical a lot. They'll shoot around someone, and then as that person gets shot around, they freak out and panic. And, in doing so, they'll start running, but they'll run, like, their guards will try to run to you to investigate, but if you leave the area you shot the bullets from, the guards won't see you. So you can run in full view of the guards, holding a gun, while they're going to investigate the area that you just shot at, and they'll ignore you. Now, I fully expect that in this upcoming game, that at least is going to be fixed. But that's a great example of, like, the limits of stealth, where, oh, you're their bodyguards know that the bullets came from this area, so they're gonna go investigate that area. Okay, yeah, makes sense. Perfect. And they're gonna ignore any small distractions while they run there. And you gotta stop and go, well, wait, what's a small distraction? Like a dude holding a sniper rifle. Uh-huh. And that's kind of the problem with stealth games, where they'll go from super immersive to just stupid looking, kind of at the drop of a dime. I don't think that this is worth doing on these guys, by the way. Yeah, I should just use the bird tree one. Literally about equivalent damage for way, way less stamina, and it's way faster. Yo, he has Black Flame. We're gonna see. I have a good feeling about these guys. My team of Wylders. Full-grown Falling Star Beast is typically the hardest fight that you can get, by the way. I mean, Ironeye gets to just cheat a little. But typically, this is the hardest fight you can get. I'd say because of two things. One, you have to hit him in the face for him to really care. I can't give you a damage comparison because, unfortunately, we are mobbing this thing. But, two, he just has a lot more poise, I would say, than most of the other things you can fight. Which is only mitigated by these things that he summons in, where if you can trick him into headbutting them, he falls over. I shouldn't have let him break that. I'm trolling that. There we go. Now, the nice thing is Black Flame does percentage damage, so yeah. I mean, the nice thing is that we've got two level 15 hyper over-leveled crazy people. Shortens character skill, max HP raised. The shortens character skill cooldown sounds nice, but I feel like I already have my skill up more than I can ever realistically use it. This Radahn's bow is kind of unfortunate. It seems really good, but it's not as good as it seems. Against this boss specifically, because it specializes against... It specializes against bigger bodies, and the final Night Lord is very much not a bigger body. I'm trying to level up even though I'm, like, literally God. You know, I should actually see if either of them wants the, improved charge spells and skills, because I don't... Actually, Charged Shot might be a charged skill, so maybe it's actually fine that I have it. Look at him go. Me too! Ironeye trying to keep up with the cool kids. Man, I hope they don't think I'm lame. I'm playing Ironeye for a video, guys, not because I think he's good. I mean, he is good. He's crazy good, but not because I'm lame and can't play the game. Come on. I'm using two bows at once because I'm cool. That's a perfect example, by the way. Had I dashed through there, I probably would have got hit. I have no clue what this team is that I got. Is this your guys' experience when you play with randoms? Because I've seen so many complaints about randoms, and like, if this is what you actually have to deal with, then yeah, I get it. This would ruin the game for me too. They make it too easy. Jeez. What even is this? Well, here's the coolest transition ever. Yeah, here, he's in phase 2. Well, we did it.
You're beautiful.
Nice ending, Grace, bro. I'm not gonna spoil the ending here, so I'm going to go do that. And then I'll make my little outro and show off what I got from this run. Alright, here we go. This is the final result screen. As you can see, I killed 125 enemies to their 65 and 53 respectively. And yeah, what we got for this is some Revenant, max HP with small shields. Another Revenant thing. Ooh, this is actually a really good one. Ghostly Explosion, increased rune acquisition, and ultimate art gauge. Wilder, ultimate art gauge greatly filled when abilities activated, improved guard counters and dexterity +3. And of course 3000 of the Merc. Yeah. I don't know, stealth games are just really hard to make, because like, how do you make a realistic depiction of what people would do if somebody had infiltrated your facility and is taking you out one at a time? Because I feel like if you're going to go too realistic, the answer is it becomes impossible to actually win. As they go into full lockdown mode, every door is locked and no one is allowed to move through the facility. Or you go the sort of cartoony way that Hitman did, where, yeah, like, these things happen, but they aren't so over the top that it ever becomes impossible. Now, with James Bond, I actually think it'll work a lot better, because James Bond is inherently kind of cartoony. Even though he's a super spy, like, the main premise of the story is always carried by the villains kind of being over the top, and how he gets out of situations being over the top. I mean, James Bond is, I'm pretty sure, the series where it popularized hanging somebody above a shark tank and slowly lowering them into live sharks. That's not a realistic depiction of villainy. But yeah, that was Ironeye. He's still completely busted. Let me know what you thought of showing off multiplayer Nightreign. I'm not going to do another one right away, but maybe every, like, 10-15 videos I throw in a multiplayer run. Or I make a challenge specifically around it. But yeah, I'm going to get started on Revenant in 60 seconds, and until next time, see ya.